behalf of RBCS, RBCS New Zealand, and Software TestWorks, we welcome everyone today to this webinar on Agile Testing Challenges. I am Rex Black, President of RBCS, a worldwide testing and quality assurance firm serving clients ranging from small startups to Fortune 20 global enterprises. Since 1994, RBCS has been both a pioneer and a leader in quality hardware and software testing. RBCS has offices in the United States, New Zealand, Australia, and Sri Lanka, with partners around the world. We deliver insight and confidence to our clients, and we help them get quality software and hardware products to market on time and with measurable return on investment. RBCS has a team of international consultants that deliver customized training, consulting, and outsourcing to help our clients improve their testing and quality assurance practices. We've helped hundreds of companies reduce development and support costs and assure the best quality products delivered to customers. I'm the author of Pragmatic Software Testing, Advanced Software Testing, Volumes 1 and 2, Foundations of Software Testing, Critical Testing Processes, and Managing the Testing Process. I'm also the past president of the International Software Testing Qualifications Board and the American Software Testing Qualifications Board. Before we start the presentation, a couple housekeeping notes. If you have any questions during the course of the webinar, feel free to submit them through the chat interface on the webinar system. Go to Webinar. There's no need to ask for presentation copies. The presentation is already posted on the web in the basic library page at www.rbcs-us.com. That's www.rbcs-us.com. Now, if you happen to be having problems with the audio or visual components of the webinar, please contact the GoToWebinar support. For whatever reason you can't get to the webinar online, or if you're dealing with an unreliable connection, you can download the slides from the basic library, as I said, and then use the telephone to connect rather than voice over IP. Okay, well, we have a number of people here. I'll go ahead and get started. I assume a few more may join us as we get going. Today's presentation, as you can see, is on Agile testing challenges. Now, it's kind of a exciting, controversial topic, given this presentation in a number of locations, and always generated some good buzz about it. It's based on what myself and other RBCS consultants have seen and learned from working with clients practicing what they consider and what they refer to as Agile. Typically, this is some form of Scrum, though it's not always Scrum. Now, notice that I'm focusing on actual practice here, not necessarily the theoretical or idealized Agile situations. Now, some of the challenges I'm going to discuss are inherent in Agile practices and the underlying philosophies of Agile. The others are products either of imperfect implementation of those practices or misapplication of the philosophies. Now, we could have some interesting discussions about whether a particular challenge is a result of quote-unquote doing Agile or not doing Agile properly, but that's not really what I'm interested in or what I intend to cover in this webinar. I'm interested in Agile as it is actually practiced among RBCS clients, even by those who may have an imperfect understanding or implementation of it. I'm not going to try to compare and contrast these real-world scenarios against Agile as it should be properly understood or properly practiced. That's up to people who are more focused on helping organizations do Agile implementation. So the focus is on testing challenges that my associates and I observe with clients following a methodology that they consider and refer to as Agile. Now, this is consistent with a philosophy that I've had for years as a test manager and a test consultant, which is in testing, you play the hand you're dealt. Okay, so as many of you probably know, seeing that there are a number of you logged into this webinar, Agile life cycles are becoming quite common. They're becoming quite popular. And any life cycle that we might choose is going to affect testing in one way or another. Now, test strategies that work well with Agile methodologies, risk-based testing works well, and I'll point out why as we go along. Automated testing, including functional regression testing, is something that's very important, and reactive testing is also something that's quite important. Now, some test strategies are going to work less well than than others, and we'll go through that as we go along to make sure that it's clear to you which ones might be problematic. Now, even properly chosen test strategies are not going to completely alleviate the testing challenges that you'll find on an Agile project. And again, these can be Agile inherent challenges, or they can be Agile incidental, if you will, or improper implementation challenges. So the goals of this presentation, as I said, we're going to try to understand the Agile testing challenges, and I'm going to try to give you some ideas on how you could deal with those challenges. Okay, so some of you might have read the Agile Manifesto, and if not, a quick web search for Agile Manifesto, you'll find it floating around there on the internet. And you might or might not have read it, and you might even be thinking, oh, well, you know, manifestos come and go. I'm not interested in manifestos. But as Trotsky said about the Russian Revolution, you may not be interested in the revolution. The revolution is interested in you. And this is certainly the case with Agile, that you might not be interested in the manifesto and the principles behind it, but those principles are very much interested in reorganizing the way that software engineering is done. So I would encourage you to go and read it and try to understand it. It'll also help you distinguish between inherent Agile testing challenges and those that are not inherent, but rather a result of implementation. Now, one of the Agile principles that's enunciated, if you will, articulated in the manifesto is that you should welcome changing requirements even late in development. Now, risk-based testing will accommodate change because it is possible to update your risk assessment at any point and rebalance your tests and utilize the remaining time as most appropriate with the level of risk. Now, the thing that's a little trickier is your automated testing. If you're very careful, your automated testing will accommodate change, but if you have graphical user interface-based automated tests, that can prove a little tricky. So you want to be really careful with the design of your testing frameworks to design those for maintenance and maintainability, and make sure you understand what is likely to change. Now, lightweight reactive testing, such as James Whittaker's attacks method, or some of Elizabeth Hendrickson's techniques that she's articulated for how to do creative software testing in her presentation of the same name, or Bach and Kaner's exploratory testing, are also very good strategies for testing that you should try to incorporate, because they are lightweight and then will not produce a lot of heavyweight documentation that requires maintenance. Now, that said, even if you do those things and you have a blended testing strategy with good maintainable automation, risk-based testing, and reactive testing, there will still be challenges